Welcome to the Deep Dive, where we really try to cut through all the noise, look at the sources, and pull out those key nuggets of knowledge for you. Our goal is simple, really. Help you get informed, quickly, thoroughly, and maybe, just maybe, spark some new thinking about things. Today, we're doing a deep dive that feels incredibly relevant right now. We're looking at insights from the Kenya Wantam Notam movement, KWM for short. We've got this really potent article from their platform, dated July 9, 2025. It's titled, "How Far Has Kenya's Parliament Fallen? The Scapegoating of Gachagua Won't Fix This Broken Country."
That's right. And it offers a pretty sharp take on things in Kenya currently, but it also lays out a compelling vision for change. So our job today is to unpack KWM's analysis, looking at the challenges, especially this disconnect they see between leaders and citizens. And then we'll explore their path forward, this grassroots movement they call Wantam Notam. What's really fascinating, I think, is how they voice the frustration, but then pivot to this really empowering message about where change actually starts.
Okay, let's get right into it then. The article doesn't waste any time, does it? It sets a critical tone straight away, asking, how far has Parliament fallen? It suggests figures like Gachagua, the deputy president, a major political figure, are being used as, well, KWM calls it a convenient distraction.
A political shield, yeah,
Yeah.
that's the term they use. Basically, a way for MPs to dodge responsibility for their own shortcomings. And that naturally leads to the question, okay, what failures are we talking about?
Right.
And KWM gives examples. They point out, MPs might ask how Gachagua caused the Gen Z protests, but hang on. He wasn't the one in Nakuru stapling posters, was he? He wasn't in every tear-gassed crowd.
Hmm.
Their point is the real issues, the stuff affecting daily life, are kind of being swept under the rug, deliberately ignored.
So if focusing on Gachagua is the distraction, what are these real issues KWM wants people to focus on?
They're very direct about it. It's stark, really. Bread is unaffordable. Petrol swallows salaries. Rent is impossible. School fees bury families in debt. These are the gut punches, the everyday struggles.
Yeah, things people feel immediately.
Exactly. And KWM argues when MPs meet, they skip these urgent issues. Why? Because it's safer. Easier to just circle back to Gachagua. And their statement here is powerful. Survival is not symbolism. Daily suffering doesn't need a mascot. It suggests a real exhaustion with political games when basic needs aren't met.
That really hits home. And the article also talks about Kenya's political chameleons, uses Junit Mohammed as an example. What's the point they're making there?
Right, Junit, a well-known MP, often quite vocal. KWM highlights his past stance on President Ruto, apparently calling him a thief and a snake. Strong words, but then they contrast that with his current praise for Ruto's leadership.
Okay, a big shift.
A huge shift. KWM puts it like this. You see the switch. You hear the new grammar. Our clean president. Loyalty, sold cheap. Speeches erased like chalk in the rain. All right. And they say it's not just him. They connect it to Raila Odinga's team Prinzan. The former opposition now standing beside Ruto. The conclusion KWM draws is pretty cynical, but maybe realistic. When you shake hands with power, your sins vanish, criticism melts. It's a critique of political expediency over principle.
So it's deeper than just words. It's about a pattern of behavior, they argue. And it paints this broader picture of Parliament being out of touch. They say, power in Kenya today smells like stale perfume and leather seats. While MPs chase allowances, clinics are closing, nurses are walking out, students study by candlelight, families choosing between food and school fees. They're saying to the listener, you see this, you live this.
Precisely. It connects back to that distraction point. Parliament spends hours blaming Gachagua, like he alone pulled the match that lit the streets on fire. But KWM stresses the real fear isn't one man speaking, it's the cost of living. It's the fact that hospitals still lock doors, raids are still terrible, people can't afford cooking gas. It suggests a fundamental misallocation of attention and resources at the highest levels.
Okay, and amidst all this frustration, KWM brings up the TikTok generation.
Yeah.
How do they fit into this picture?
This is where it gets really interesting, I think. It touches on how power dynamics are changing. KWM suggests leaders think, oh, just turn off the screens and the dissent will stop. But they say leaders don't understand. This is not a show. This is your life. They point out that videos of, say, riot victims go viral anyway, even if hashtags are banned. Block the news. Kenyans will watch underground.
Wow. So censorship isn't the answer they think it is.
Not according to KWM. They frame it not as gossip, but as grief being shared digitally. And then they drop that chilling question, remember Sri Lanka?
Hmm.
Where public anger literally overran the presidential palace, a government forced out.
Yeah, that's a powerful reference.
And KWM asks you, the listener, directly, you've seen it, you've thought about it, could Kenya be next? It's a stark warning about ignoring widespread public anger in this digital age.
Definitely a wake-up call. The article then makes a bold claim. The collapse has already begun. What do they mean by collapse? Is it like overnight chaos?
Not necessarily like a sudden implosion. It's more subtle based on signs of disengagement they see everywhere. Things like abandoned campaign posters, empty stadiums where rallies used to be packed, voters just staying home.
A quiet erosion of trust, maybe?
Exactly. They describe the relationship between citizens and the state like a bridge that's already rubble. And that's why, they argue, just removing Gachagua fixes nothing. Because the rot runs deep. It's hidden in fake tenders, ghost workers, collapsing classrooms, leaking hospitals. Parliament talks about Gachagua because, KWM says, they can't tell you why unga costs so much, why fuel is unaffordable, why jobs are scarce. They can't, so they talk about him instead. It's an indictment of the entire system's failure to deliver.
Okay, that's a very bleak assessment of the current situation. So
Yeah.
if the system is broken, if the collapse is happening, what's the KWM solution? Where's the hope?
Right, this is the pivot from critique to, well, their vision. And it really challenges the traditional idea of where change comes from. KWM states it flat out. Change won't come from hashtags or press conferences. It will come from you. They describe it almost like a breakup. Kenyans are deciding to walk away from leaders who just offer titles but no real solutions.
A breakup. That's an interesting way to put it. Not a protest, but a conscious uncoupling from the political class.
Kind of, yeah. It implies taking back control, not just demanding things from the same old system. And they illustrate this with very grounded examples.
Right, you mentioned those earlier. The woman cooking beans, the boda riders, the students.
Exactly. The woman in Busia forced to switch from maize because it's too expensive. The boda riders in Kisumu struggling with loans. The students in Kibra studying by flashlight. KWM says these are the real agents of change. People living the crisis, finding ways to cope, their resilience itself becoming a force.
And this is where that name comes in, Wanton Notem. It sounds deliberate, decisive.
It really does. They're clear. Wanam Notem is not a slogan. It's a decision. What does it mean? Wanting what works. Not just another politician, another familiar face shuffled around in the same broken setup. It's about wanting tangible results, practical solutions, not just rhetoric.
So it's a demand for functionality, for things to actually work on the ground.
Precisely. It's a rejection of symbolism in favor of substance.
Okay, so how does this Wanakon Motam movement actually work? If it's not speeches and banners, what does it look like?
They describe it as incredibly simple, almost mundane, but powerful in its persistence. No speeches, no banners, just people showing up. Showing up where? Wherever services are supposed to be delivered. Demanding that service, demanding, as they put it, repayment for stolen years. It's not about seeking applause, it's about demanding accountability. Quietly, consistently. And they emphasize that the real leaders in this vision aren't the ones on TV or from political dynasties. They're the ones who solve problems quietly, the ones who know your life because they live your life. Where do you find them? At boreholes, at markets, at bus stages.
So it's hyper-local, focused on community-level action and problem solving.
Exactly. It's about empowering those who are already doing the work, often unseen and uncelebrated.
If you're inspired by this vision, by this idea of local action and accountability that KWM is putting forward, they actually encourage you to get involved.
That's right. You can visit www.wanamnotam.com. There you can create an account, share your own ideas, things that could help change your village, your city, maybe even the whole nation.
Okay, good to know there's a direct way to engage. The article wraps up by saying the ground is shifting. What evidence do they point to for this? What makes them think the old system is cracking?
They point to the sheer accumulation of everyday struggles. It's like the system is groaning under the weight of its own failures. They list examples across different areas. Gagaretti's homes are emptying, suggests economic pressure even in urban hubs. Old Kalu's markets are boiling with frustration, rural anger. Kiambu's schools whisper of unpaid fees, even relatively better-off areas feeling the pinch. They even mention middle-class commuters drop plates because lunch costs KS 200 too much. That specific detail really grounds it.
Yeah, it makes it very real.
It does. And it's this cascade. Students drop out, nurses walk out, rent is due, electricity is out, jobs are gone. KWM's message is that all this time spent on political blame games Every minute wasted on blame is a minute of momentum lost for actually fixing things. The ground shifts because the foundation is crumbling.
It's a powerful conclusion. And they end with this very direct call to action for the listener, for you.
Yeah, it's incredibly empowering, actually. They say, stop waiting for permission, start building.
Yeah.
Show up where the politicians don't, work where they won't, move without slogans, build without applause, let your results speak. The vision is clear. While the political class is busy chasing Gachagua, the real change happens when ordinary Kenyans just show up, silently, daily, without waiting.
Wow. That's quite a vision. A quiet revolution built from the ground up, focused entirely on results.
It really is. And they leave you with this final thought, almost a personal instruction. Light your match.
Yeah.
Illuminate, then build. And that final jab, let them keep chasing Gachagua. You have work to do. It's a call to disengage from the political noise and engage with tangible reality.
A really thought-provoking deep dive into the Kenya Wantum Modem movement's perspective. It challenges conventional ideas about political change. And again, if this resonates with you, if you want to explore more or contribute your own ideas to this bottom-up approach,
The place to go is www.wantumnotum.com. Create an account, share your thoughts, connect with others who want to build solutions from the community level up.
thank you for joining us on the Kenya Wantum Notum Movement podcast, diving deep into these powerful insights. We hope it's given you food for thought and maybe sparked some ideas for your own engagement.